Hello, my name is Ahmed, and today in my informative speech, I'm going to be talking about the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is one of the seven wonders, and most significant wall I've ever seen. And I wish I've seen it in real life. I've seen it in articles. I've seen it in movies. I've seen it as pictures. But it's one of my goals. It's on my bucket list to definitely go and explore the Great Wall of China. No, it's most famous. It's the most famous wall ever, and it actually when it was who actually ordered to be the Great Wall to be built was Emperor Qin Shi Huang, and Emperor Qin Shi Huang was around. He ordered actually the construction of the Great Wall around 221 BC, and the whole labor force was built the wall that made up largely from soldiers and convicts. They were all convicts and soldiers, pretty much, that actually built that wall, and there were a million of them. And and it was said that as many as 400,000 Chinese people, Chinese convicts or soldiers, actually died during the construction, and many of them were buried in between and within the wall itself. It's very disturbing to actually know that. It's like just walking by the Great Wall and you'd be thinking of that idea. But and in a couple in actually in about 10 years or 20 years they actually changed the whole construction and they rebuilt it because a lot of tourism came there, and it was a place filled with attractions. Now, the beginning of the Great Wall of China can be traced to the 3rd century. Many of the fortifications actually included the wall data from hundreds of years earlier. When China was divided into a number of individual kingdoms during the so-called Warring States period, around the 220 BC, the same emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of unified China, ordered that earlier fortifications between states to be removed and numbered of extended for more than a thousand years. I'm sorry. Not a correction for that. It's not 100,000. It's not 10,000 years. Actually, it's 10,000 li, which is is about 1/3 of a mile, and to protect China against attacks from the north. So that was the whole reason for them to build China at the Great Wall at the first time. Now, the construction of the Great Wall, which is in China, a lot of people call it One Li Cheng Chong, or they call it the 10,000 Li Long Wall. Now, it has a lot of names, but mostly a lot of people just name it as it is, which is the Great Wall of China, because it's definitely great. Um, it was one of the ambitious building projects for a lot of Chinese people, and it was taken, and a lot of times it was recommended for a lot of people to actually go there and look around and see how they built it, because China's was well known of building walls and building that's their symbol, that's their tradition, usually to build a yard, to build. I'm sorry, that was for samurai. That's a different whole subject. But perhaps the most recognizable symbol of China, it was the Great Wall of China, and it was in a vivid history. It had a lot of it protected them from the north in a lot of ways. It was in a lot of movies, which is by true events, and I will be sure to to put the links for the videos for the movies down there below, and it was the wall, as it means, it was preventing a lot of things. It was preventing from, if we go back to the centuries, it was preventing from Berbian nomes into the Chinese Empire, not to get into the Chinese Empire. And the wall is one of the most extensive construction projects ever completed in like a long of time. And the best known, the best preserved section of the Great Wall was built in the 14th through the 17th centuries. During the Ming dynasty, which is between 1368 and 1644. Um, the Great Wall never effectively prevented invaders from entering China. Actually, it came to function more as a psychological barrier between Chinese civilization and the world, and it remains a very powerful symbol of the country's enduring strength. Now, a lot of people think that's why it's a construction. It was not made of a symbol. Like Emperor Qin Shi Huang didn't didn't build it as a symbol. He built it to protect them. But in 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 years to come, they took it as a symbol, which is a great deal for a lot of people. Now, the beginning of the Great Wall of China was like was one of the greatest starts for China in many ways. To know that they can actually build something that big, that large, in ways that they couldn't find possible. Now, the wall stretched from the China seaport of Qinghai over 3,000 miles, went into Gansu province, and it went on to north of Beijing. That was later restored of Ming destiny from a base of 15 to 50 feet. It was rebuilt. It was rebuilt about like 5 to 6 times during this until this present time. And the Great Wall rose some 15 to 30 feet high. It was topped by ramparts 12 feet or higher. Now there's guard towers all around where but it was distributed and inventor along it. And one of the important facts that I knew about the Great Wall was that actually you don't have to have an now that there a lot of people go and just see how amazing it is. You don't see soldiers there, and it's great because you don't feel that much of a insecurity there. Like it's very nice and it's beautiful. I read about it and I researched it, and hopefully, if it's in my path, I will definitely want to go and visit there. I hope I give you good information about the Great Wall. I know this is not my best informative speeches, but I hope it does good. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed and got much knowledge of it. Thank you very much.